Okay, I call this meeting to order of the Virginia Public Utilities on Monday, December 23rd, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. No need to do roll call, everybody is present. So we move to number 2, approve meeting agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
A motion approved.
Support?
Support.
Discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We jump to number 4, which is the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve resolution number 5360, which is approval of payroll, accounts payable, and net payment adjustments, along with B, approval of regular commission meeting minutes from the month, from November 25th, 2024 meeting.
I motion to.
Is there support?
Sure.
Okay, so discussion. Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. Now we move to reports of committees. Once again, Greg, no monthly summary injury reports, so
Correct.
that is great. Fantastic. We're gonna jump to B then, new business. Approved 2024 write-offs. Greg, Cassie, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Yeah, in the committee, the whole discussion that we had last week, we threw the write-off sheet in front of you. Again, knowing that there is confidentiality on the names on the list. In short summary, our typical write-offs are about $4,500, which is really good. You know, we've been at about the $10,000 mark year in and year out since we instilled the deposit policy. However, there's about $40,000 there in what I call assessment cleanups that date back from 2002 to 2019. I think that it just got pushed over to us instead of doing it yearly. We got a whole slug of them at one time. So as far as the diligence of our deposit requirements and the front office and the accounting departments will diligent work in keeping those deposits minimum, or the write-offs to a minimal level. I think we're doing really well when you look at $21 million in revenue. So with that being said, I think that we need to approve the write-off list so that we can square that away.
Okay,
I
need a
approve.
motion to approve?
Yeah.
Okay, support?
Second.
Okay, second? Okay,
I-
discussion, go ahead.
2 quick questions. I notice on page 2, the top half of the page seems to have, you know, a rather large balance for one particular customer there. How does that happen? I'd probably say the 4th line down through mid-page.
Those are, so if you look at the account numbers, those are all different accounts.
Okay,
So what would happen, and we don't do this anymore, when we got to the point of shutting an account off for non-payment, they would still accrue the monthly service charges.
Okay.
And sometimes those would sit obviously for years, and every October that would get terminated and sent for assessment, and all that was the monthly service charges plus penalties. So none of that is consumption. And if you look, every account number there is going to be a different year.
yeah, I see that, but I just
So
wondered about that.
that would have sat vacant all those years being shut off.
Okay, so that brings me to a third question. When we're writing this off, are we writing off late fees on here too, or is that,
Yep, the whole account balance would have gone for a special assessment.
okay, all right. And then there was another one that was just below that group of accounts that had a balance of $3,400, $3,500. That seems kind of high. Was it a particular unique building or something?
That, if you look at that one, I see which one you're referring to, and that would have been 2003.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I can't speak exactly to what would have occurred at that property, because that would have been before my time here.
Okay.
That would have been prior to us collecting deposits the way that we do now. So I'm guessing that was probably a property owner that ended up having some kind of issue there, and did not have a deposit to offset that.
Okay. So then, next year when we look at this list again, are there gonna be some from 2004?
There's,
Or should we be looking, going back to like the last 2 years or something?
there shouldn't be any that go back that far.
Okay.
Again, this kind of started in 2002 to 2019, so hopefully we're somewhat up to date.
Okay. Just curious.
Again, these got held up the street and kind of got dumped on us way
Oh.
after the fact.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Just a quick one, and maybe Jim already got it answered. Would we be expecting to see specials every year for whatever the most recent year? Or is this, because this is a big cleanup, would we normally be seeing,
We normally see just this first part, right?
The regular write-offs.
Yeah.
The regular write-offs,
Not
but
the
as
second one.
as far as the special assessments go, we should be more on track now to more recent years. Because it does take, what did you tell me before, 2-3 years for those to kind of,
More, I think, even it can take, so.
hit our
and you've
table where
got,
we get requested to clean them up. Because it goes from the county to the city and then to us.
okay. Well, and you've done a really good job of getting the regular write-offs down. I mean, your policies are definitely notable.
Well, and one comment on that is, again, it is due to diligence of the front office. It's not a real easy task, because that's where that deposit policy runs into place, and trying to, get a lot of times poor paying customers to come up with that money. It's not always fun, but it does work.
Well, compliments to all of you for
Yes.
doing this.
Like it used to be normal, 10 to 12. They've got it all. Yes.
Well, when I started here, it was at 50 to 100.
Well, yeah.
And then once that deposit policy, once we really started holding to that, we dropped down to about 10,000, give or take. Last year, we had a major cleanup with
Yeah.
a property that,
Yes.
again, was kind of forced down our throat, if you remember that discussion. But, so we do end up with some of that stuff that gets hung up with other entities. But our day-to-day, what do you call it, our day-to-day dealings here with our real write-offs of current non-payment of utilities is really good. It's just these tax forfeiture properties and things like that kind of blindside us at times. That's a good way to say it.
Okay, any other discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. Okay, we're gonna go with new business B, approved 2025 budget. Once again, Greg, you have the floor on this. and-
Yeah, there's a packet in front of you, and if you take the paper clip off, the front 2 pages are net income and cash flows that we went over pretty thoroughly last week. The one commodity we're gonna talk about is water, because if you recall, if you go to there's a single sheet that looks like this, all right, after that front packet. The front one looks like this, Bruce. Okay. But then there's a single sheet here, so what I did is, what Cassie did is put together, a rate mechanism that shows the water net income. As we talked about pretty thoroughly in that committee, the whole meeting is a matter of discussion of depreciation. One of the discussions we've had year after year is the depreciation of the infrastructure across the bridge, which, we've heard year after year after year. As you see, last year, if you go further in, you'll see the 3-year comparison. We did budget for a loss in the tune of $100,000 on water. Again, bringing that depreciation discussion front and forward. Now, the consensus of the commission was to do a bit of a unit rate increase and put those discussions behind us. So this rate comparison to net income, again, gives you an idea of what every 5-cent increment in rate. These numbers here in the forms show a 70-cent water rate increase, which would be the water rate of $4.95. That number came from a discussion I had with Commission President Marwick, and us looking and saying, well, if we do an increase like we talked about, that gets the depreciation off the table, puts us in the black on the water net income statement, it's a number that we should look at moving to, knowing that typically, that water rate has been pretty stagnant. The reason why we went with the 100,000 was we have done adjustments that put us in the $30,000 range, and it never really panned out. The only reason that we could say it, or that we could use as kind of the answer as to why it didn't work, is as the city sewer rates went up and up and up, and you've all heard me say it, we saw a lot of conservation. In other words, we didn't see the amount of usage in water that we had been seeing in prior years. Now that consumption seems to be flatlined, that people did start conserving a little bit. Now it seems that it's been, kind of the same, more uniform year after year. This adjustment hopefully will get us in the black in the net income on the water, and we can stay there moving forward. So again, in discussion I had with Jeff, discussion that we had internally, 70 cents is the recommended number to use. However, there is a chart there for any of your discussion if you think that, we want to adjust that to 50,000 or what have you. We definitely would consider it. So the numbers you see in front of you again are based on no increases besides a water increase of 70 cents a unit, which we typically say that our average residential usage is 5 units. We'll see them anywhere from 2 to 7. So 5 units, 5 and less than $1 is less than $5 a month.
Yeah.
On a typical residential usage or billing.
Is any questions on that?
Typical residential unit, to get this where we need to be in the black,
Mm-hmm.
what would it actually break down to the resident a month?
Less
Total,
than,
not
less
just
than,
this total.
less than $5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a typical residential house, we'll see residential houses anywhere from 1 or 2 units up to 7 units. So we use kind of 5 as our number, because the 1, 2s are, probably a single person or a couple living in a house that don't use a lot of water. So 5 times 7 is $3.50 a month. 5 times 0.7, I'm sorry.
Well, that's the only increase of the utilities we're gonna at least pass this session.
That's recommended.
Yes. that's what-
However, if the commission so chooses not to do anything, again, our water stays in the position where it was. As you can see in this chart here again, at a water net income of a negative approximate $130,000.
Yeah.
So when, just for clarification purposes, you're saying a unit rate of $4.95 puts us at 98,000, and that's what's used in the budget?
Yes.
Okay. So to go up 5 cents per
Mhm.
unit will make a difference of 15,000, and we'll add a little cushion to our budget then?
Right. Which would be 75 cents a unit.
So it would.
The reason why we looked at 70, in our discussions we had in the committee room, we were kind of saying, well, if it's about that 50-cent range again, you know what I mean, 70 cents is closer to 50 cents than
Right.
75. And again, 50 cents gets us to, 33,000 and change in the black. but we've done that in the past. And, you know, at that 33,000, we've noticed that a little bit of conservation or a drop in water usage. We're always riding that fine line of black and red. Where that $100,000 mark, I think, will give us enough cushion to say that, yeah, we should be riding in the black.
No, I think we had a good discussion at the committee of the whole, and you brought up, maybe it's time we look at making sure we're keeping our utilities in the black, and we don't have to have large increases as we go along. Which if we aren't changing the other ones
No.
and focusing solely on
On
water.
water, yes.
You know, and again, if you look at the second page of that front packet, when we get into cash flow, we're looking at moving, you know, approximately $3.5 million out of the LEA funds. You know, it's more in the tune of 4.4, but again, that budget has got a lot of cushion in it. And that's about $1 million over what we should actually have to pull out. But again, pursuant to our discussions of shutting down the steam plant, you know, moving about approximately $3 million a year out of the LEA funds was the reason why we expedited, you know, a 2.5-year notice on shutting the steam system down, so that we did have the funds to front, you know, the loan program that we've had in the other phases.
Right.
So the big discussion really was water and getting that in the black. So, and working with President Marwick, the number that we came up with was 70 cents, but again, that's up to you as a commission to decide to follow that recommendation or adjust it higher and lower. We just thought this chart would give you a, you know, a good idea of the incremental cost.
Well, I'm a strong
That's what I'm saying.
advocate of us getting our in the black.
Okay. Well, I need a motion. Well, are we gonna talk about the entire budget, or why don't we have a motion to approve the 2025 budget?
Well, I would
Approve.
feel
And
like,
then we'll have discussion after and support.
but if we're going to approve the budget, shouldn't we have this?
Yes, you should approve it with the water.
With the water
issue.
increase, yes,
Yeah.
it's already included.
Okay, but we should do an increase separately with the budget.
No?
Oh,
We'll do it
okay.
all.
Yeah.
with
If
the
we
budget.
wanted to change this number, though.
Yes.
Yes, if we wanted to change it.
Okay.
Right now, it's up to $4.95 per unit in the budget.
Okay,
So we approve the budget, we approve the rate increase,
okay.
so.
I'll
Okay,
make
is
a
there-
motion, I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay, now, further discussion on the budget. I know we covered water. Any other entities we need to discuss? We did I mean, Greg and Cassie did a thorough research of the other ones, and
I support the budget 100%. I just question, I mean, for the extra 5 cents, it makes a difference in the end of $15,000 and provides us with a little bit more cushion.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess if it was me, I'd like to see it
At the $5.
at the $5. However, I will vote in favor of what we have going, but I don't think it's that much of a difference.
no, not, like I said, we've had increases the year before, and we never saw a significant change in the budget. And this should at least put us in the black every year. So, okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously.
Who made the
Approved. Bruce did. And then we had support for the budget. That's what we were voting on.
the budget with this?
Yes,
Which number?
this,
95.
this is
Okay.
included in the existing budget right now. That's what we approved just now.
Johnson and Jim.
So, Commissioner Marwick.
Yes, go
President
ahead.
Marwick. Just to recap, the public utility budget has been approved with only a water increase of 70 cents per unit.
70 cents.
Yeah.
Which in a typical household is about $3.50 increase. Correct?
Just at 50 cents each.
Okay. Now we move to manager staff report, operations update. Once again, Greg.
The only thing I have for you is the operation of the steam plant, and right now, because of the colder weathers, we're running 50,000 pounds per hour. We were hanging around that $20,000 pound per hour range for a long, long time, and now we've jumped to more of a winter load, which is 50,000. So we are running both units together. So if we do lose one unit, the other one will hold the system. Again, that's how they were designed. So there would not be any loss of steam impacted by losing one of the units. With that being said, the units have run pretty flawlessly since they've been put in, but again, it's just in precautionary measures.
And the letters, I know you stated in the last minutes, letters are gonna be sent out after the first.
Yes, in fact, in the newsletter, did we have it in the newsletter as well?
Yes.
We've got an article in the newsletter as well.
Okay.
So it will be in the newsletter for all customers, and then there will be another letter submitted after the first of the year to the 200 steam customers remaining on the district.
So everybody's well aware of
Yep.
the time.
And again, we've been through this for 2 rounds already. We do know that the day that we say we're gonna shut steam off, it's gonna be shut off, because there is a backup heat source supplied to every building in town, which is electric. We work with the Attorney General's office, and in 2 different phases of this, we've given adequate notice per statute. So the date that is presented, the end of October 2026, the valve will be shut. So again, if anyone is ignoring it, I hope at least they have some electric space heaters to cover in those colder months.
Okay. Any other questions for Greg? Cassie, anybody has any questions? Cassie? Well, being none, I need a motion to adjourn.
Right here.
Support, okay, support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.